Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today I'm going to talk about a fruit pie flipping tables in Iowa.
No thanks. Did you get that?
Yeah.
First guys, please go check out my friends CMMG. They have a brand new line of zeroed brand suppressors that they are releasing. These suppressors offer impressive sound suppression. They're very ruggedly built, and trust me, they are at a very affordable price. They are calling these the everyman suppressor, meaning that they are at a price point where they expect most everybody, every man at least, if you still know what men are, to be able to afford one. These suppressors are built in-house in America, in Missouri, at the CMMG plant. They're made with 17-4 stainless steel, and they feature a durable tubeless design, laser welded baffle stacks, and easy to clean nitride finish. Check them out. Go to CMMG. Again, CMMG. Don't forget to use my code FTATF and you will get 10% off these unbelievable suppressors, along with anything else from CMMG. Again, FTATF is the discount code. So not sure if you guys had seen that video yet, but obviously this is a deranged person. This is a person who clearly feels like the First Amendment only applies to one side. This clearly triggered 19-year-old transformatively confused individual pretending to be the opposite gender. I know that's a mouthful, but that's my new name for what I used to describe as gender pretenders, because YouTube keeps trashing my videos whenever I speak the truth on them. Yeah, this transformatively confused individual pretending to be opposite gender is named Justin Pham Calhoun. He bulldozed a completely non-combative Turning Point USA table, flipping it like it was his own and spewing verbal venom at the conservative crew manning it. There were stickers and cups scattered everywhere, and this goofball thought that he would get away with it. Differing opinions doesn't matter to these screwballs. These people do whatever they want, and they don't think the rules apply to them. And in many cases, they probably feel like they have cover because they know they're on a progressive, liberal, left-leaning campus. Most of them are, right? But guess what? Cops actually delivered in this case. Misdemeanors for disorderly conduct, criminal mischief, under $300 because apparently flipping tables is budget destruction, not high dollar destruction, and harassment. No one got hurt, but it's peak, what I like to call cry-bully energy, amplified in a digital dumpster fire. But this actually appears to be a pattern for this transformatively confused individual pretending to be the opposite gender. He did this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh! That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You want to discuss some things that you talk about, or?
Yeah, something like that.
So clearly there's a pattern with this dude. I mean, obviously, he's mentally deranged. Again, for reasons I can't get into because YouTube will crush this video, but the guy has mental problems. We ignore the mental problems because guess what? We've spent so much time, and I say we, you know who I'm talking about, the institution, the universities, spent so much time normalizing mental instability because anybody that has a mental condition, they want to celebrate it. So whenever it actually does come along and it rears its ugly head like this, we're supposed to think that this is normal because the mental instability that this person is suffering with, it's labeled as normal. But let's take a closer look. This is not isolated idiocy by these clowns. This is the blueprint for how left-wing extremists treat liberal campuses like their personal rage rooms. Places like Iowa, Berkeley, Columbia, these are total echo chambers where conservatives show up to talk peacefully and leftists respond with sabotage, shutdowns, straight-up thuggery, all while admins play ostrich because it fits their progressive vibes. These punks feel absolutely invincible, flipping tables, expressive activism as they call it. They torch property like in 2017 Berkeley riots over Milo. Remember the gay dude, Milo Yiannopoulos? Yeah, they were setting fires over there to show their, quote, free speech expression. Just to protest, right? Or the 2024 pro-Palestine occupations turning into blockades and brawls. Yeah, They called that solidarity, but it was riots. Meanwhile, their targets, which is right-leaning people speaking truth, trying to recruit or debate people on these campuses, they somehow get painted as the actual villains instead of the people who end up getting these criminal charges pressed against them for lashing out and trying to squash somebody else's First Amendment rights. Yeah, the First Amendment is awesome when you're on the left. When you're on the right, it's hate speech. You ever notice that? It's never the same both ways. When the left commits to spouting off their hate speech, it's immediately labeled as free speech, First Amendment protections. But whenever anybody on the right starts talking about truth, and it can be 100% verifiable truth like it is on these videos, and it's called hate speech. YouTube's done it to me. I've simply reported, not even given my opinion in some cases, reported on things that pointed out the hypocrisy of the left trying to squash and crush people on the right's First Amendment rights, and I've got hit with hate speech accusations. So it's definitely not the same playing field here. You guys talk, and there's a lot of people in the comment section always say, oh, it's a different wing on the same bird. It's not the same. There's a difference. There's a distinct difference between political party and ideology. It's very clear. If you guys don't know that, maybe you're the slaves. Because it's very, very clear. Yes, politic-wise, they are all in it together. Granted, some are worse than others, but they're all playing by the same playbook from a Republican and Democrat standpoint. But when you look at progressive, left-leaning, liberal versus conservative, that's an ideological stand. That has nothing to do with politics. I know people who have very conservative views just like me. Weirdly, they vote Democrat. I can't explain it either, so don't ask me to. But they have the same views that I agree with practically everything they agree with. But they'll still pull that lever for a Democrat. Clearly, there is a distinction between these two, so don't get them mixed up. When you look at ideology or belief systems, morals, let's look at it from a morality standpoint. There is a very distinct difference between the left and the right. You have to be smart enough to take the political aspect of it out and recognize that you probably do belong to a side. And again, I have to repeat this because of the smooth brainers out there. I don't mean Republican or Democrat. You belong to a moral side. You belong to a person who either thinks it's okay to pretend to be a woman and flip peaceful people's tables over on campuses who are doing nothing wrong, or you're on the other side who thinks that is wrong. That's not a political party thing. That is an ideological stand. But I'm going to drop some facts on your ass right now because I don't think feelings are what I'm after. On campuses, the disruption game is overwhelmingly a leftist specialty. It's what they're good at. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression tracks this stuff. Their campus deplatforming database logs over 1,000 attempts since 1998 to muzzle speakers, with the lion's share from left-leaning hordes, 192 in recent years, including 75 full shutdowns via mob attacks, protests, or spineless admins caving to these leftist wackos. We're talking about shutdowns, blockades, even pie attacks, throwing pies at people, or worse, folks like Ann Coulter, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. These people were in many cases assaulted. 20 to 30% of students think it's cool to scream over or block hated speakers, and 5 to 10% even nod to violence, thousands enabling this BS. Now, I have to point this out, and I feel like I'm a fair-minded person. I'm not as critical as the person trying to shout over a conservative speaker, because initially that is a First Amendment right. And I guess let me explain that a little bit. Let's use Charlie Kirk, for instance. Charlie Kirk would show up on these campuses and speak to these people and give them an equal chance to speak in return. Of course, a lot of people on the left didn't listen to any of that. They just took somebody else's interpretation of what was said and twisted it around and said it was hate speech. But anyway, Charlie would talk, and then you would have people in the crowd who would try to shout over either him or the person on the left who was speaking and debating with him on the microphone. Those people, their initial shout, I honestly don't have a problem with it. Is it rude? Is it disruptive? Yes. I mean, it's not the polite thing to do. Constitutionally, do they have the right to do it? They do. It's whenever they become outright disruptive and continue to shout over and not let the actual conversation between the conservative person and the person they're debating with, not letting that take place. That's where they get disruptive. To me, that's where they cross the line. Again, I've got no problem with them, shouting out. I don't care how mean-spirited it might be. If they want to shout it out and it's not vulgarity, I don't care that they do that. I really don't. I mean, again, do I frown on it? Of course. I think it's rude. I think it lacks moral compass, right? I wouldn't do that. I look at anything I look at that I wouldn't do, I look at as being rude. So I don't feel like anyone on the left or the right who shouts out a disagreement in an open forum like that should be arrested, charged, expelled, anything negative. I just don't agree with that. Again, it's whenever they cross that line and push the envelope and try to make it, in most cases, it really is about making it more about them instead of the actual topic, because they want to get on TikTok. They want to get views on YouTube or whichever. So that I have a problem with. But again, the initial component of it, I have no problem with, because that's an extension of free speech. And I fully support that. I don't care how crazy, how blue your hair is, how many bones you have in your nose. None of that matters to me. The fact that you have that right, I feel like needs to be protected. And you have that right to say the stupid things that you say in whatever forum. But stop at that point, right? And certainly no need to get violent and start flipping tables and all that. That's where you cross the line, and that's where you lose me. But why do you think the left has this monopoly? Well, in many cases, because they're protected. These campuses are fortresses where, quote, inclusion means excluding dissent, right? Like they frown on anyone from the right saying things that they don't agree with, but they fully support anybody from the left attacking that person from the right. Broader violence trends, left-wing incidents are climbing. CSIS flagged 2025 as a flip year, with left attacks at 5, including arson and hits, way up from averages, fueling campus intimidation. Pew says most Americans spot political violence spiking, pinning it on echo chambers and fringe-pushing leaders, campus radicals. Right-leaners, yeah, they debate, they don't destroy. Statistics back me up on this, that the left are the ones who are violent on campus, not people on the right. It's time that we remove protections from these violent wackos on these campuses and call them out. And we on the right, or even in the center, need to stop being timid when confronted by these wackos. That's my take. Am I wrong about this? Should this person be allowed to just walk free after flipping tables of peaceful people that have said nothing wrong, had said nothing inaccurate, said nothing untrue? It's just something that this person doesn't agree with. And I got to go back to, before I end the video, this person is mentally deranged. And we're supposed to feel sorry for them. And we're supposed to accept their actions as being First Amendment? I don't think so. Tell me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. Am I way off base here, or am I right that free speech should have certain protections, but when you cross the line, all bets are off? Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.